Hello subscribers, this is yours truly JBlue68 coming to you with yet another video. This will be a comic book video, comic book haul, and of course today is Comic Book Day, Wednesday, November the 16th, 2022. And before I get into this video, I want to say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, for liking, sharing, and commenting. Please continue to do so and tap the notification bell so you get more videos like this as I post them immediately. This is not going to be a comic book haul based off of recent comic books that have come out as of this week. This is going to be a comic book haul based off of a new TV series that is streaming on Disney Plus, and of course it is called Tales of the Jedi. Now, I want to actually distinguish the difference though between the TV show and these comic books, and that is that the Disney Plus shows are directed by Dave Filoni. Of course, Dave Filoni is popular for directing several shows, including, of course, Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels. He's active and participated in The Mandalorian, The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. And to my understanding, will be also partially responsible for the upcoming Ahsoka series. Now, these particular comic books were produced by Dark Horse Comics, as you can see the label there. And what he's done basically is taken the Tales of the Jedi title, and he's actually producing or has produced shows that are not related to these stories at all. They tell the tales of Jedi Knights, the Jedi Knights that we know from the George Lucas universe, which of course is Master Yoda, Master Windu, Count Dooku. They show actually a young Dooku and a young Qui-Gon Jinn. These stories were actually took place 5,000 years before the birth of Master Yoda, and they tell the stories of Jedi Knights Ulic Qel-Droma, who you see here on the cover, his brother Kay Qel-Droma, Nomi Sunrider, Jedi Master Thawne, and Jedi Master Arca, and there are several other Jedi involved in this story. It's told or broke down in several parts, and the first 5 stories are just simply titled Tales of the Jedi. That's a beautiful cover there by Dave Dorman, who illustrated this cover. It was written, the script is by Tom Veitch, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And that's the first five stories of Tales of the Jedi. This book came out in '93. These are original single prints, by the way. I keep my books in good shape. They're in their Mylars, of course. But this is an absolutely gorgeous cover. And get that glare out of there. And that's Jedi Knight Ulic Qel-Droma. And I love that ancient kind of almost Viking look that they gave the Jedi Knights during that time. They didn't wear their traditional robes that you see them in, the brown robes and tunics that you see them in the Star Wars movies. Here's issue number 2, and that's Jedi Knight, what's his name? Tat Danita. Issue number 2 of Tales of the Jedi. Okay. Very nice cover there. Hard to believe I've kept these in good shape as long as I have. And then there's Jedi Knight Nomi Sunrider, and you see she's holding a baby, and there's a gentleman right there who has fallen before her, killed in battle. The thing about these stories is this was 5,000 years before the birth of Master Yoda, is that the Jedi Knights were allowed to marry during this time. They were allowed to marry and have children. As you know, during the time of Yoda, that was forbidden. That's her husband there who was killed in battle. He was a Jedi Knight. And then there's her baby there, of course, as I just mentioned. But during this time in these stories, again, Jedi Knights were allowed to have emotion. And, of course, you see in Revenge of the Sith and throughout the prequel trilogy how that was forbidden, where Jedi were not allowed to have attachment. Not only that, infants were taken from their parents at very young ages to be raised in the Jedi Temple, to become Jedi Padawans, so that they didn't form attachment to their parents. And there's a hut here. That's not Jabba the Hutt. It looks like it, but it's not. It's issue number 4, Tales of the Jedi. Okay. And then here's Nomi Sunrider in battle. And behind her is Jedi Master Thawne, who was her teacher. He looks like a dinosaur type creature. I thought that was a very unique take on a Jedi Knight. And that was the end of this particular run, 5-part series, Tales of the Jedi. And then it continued in the Freedom Nod Uprising, again written by Tom Beach. And this was actually the rise of one of the first Sith, or one of the Sith, I guess you could say one of the first Sith Lords during this time. And that is Jedi Knight Exar Kun, who becomes a Dark Lord of the Sith. And this was actually the Freedom Nod Uprising, was kind of like a segue between Tales of the Jedi and Dark Lords of the Sith. It was told in 2 parts. And then here are the Jedi Ula Kildroma, Nomi Sunrider, and Tat Danita again. Okay. And then we get into one of my favorite stories of the Tales of the Jedi comic book series, which is just as I just mentioned, Dark Lords of the Sith. And this was a 6-part series. And there's a beautiful cover there. It shows the Jedi Knights and the Republic, excuse me, the Jedi Knights and the Republic forming an army to fight against Dark Lord Exar Kun. And they're not using red lightsabers during the time. They didn't have red lightsabers during this time period. Okay? And that's Tom Beach and Kevin J. Anderson working on this story. You can see that cover there. And then this was an autograph book by Kevin J. Anderson. That's his autograph right there on this single print. Dark Lords of the Sith. As the war between the Jedi and the Sith rage. I had 2 copies of this book. And then here is, what is it? This is book number 3. That's Master Arca has perished in battle during the beginning of the Sith War. And that's Ula Kildroma kneeling at the side of his fallen master. And then here's an astounding cover here by, astounding cover of Jedi Knight Nomi Sunrider from Dark Lords of the Sith. This is issue number 5. Okay. And then the final series, or final issue, I should say, where Ula Kildroma, like Anakin Skywalker, falls to the dark side of the Force and becomes a Dark Lord of the Sith himself. Okay, so that ends the first round of comics from this series. Let's get into the second lot, which goes back in time and tells the story of the Sith Empire, with Golden Age of the Sith. This is written by Kevin J. Anderson as well, who I had the pleasure of meeting him years ago. I think about 6 or 7 years ago at the I think it was Motor City Comic Con, I believe. And this is a 5-part series too. Okay, it shows when the Sith Lords were on the rise, and a lot of people don't know the history of the Sith. And this book explains it perfectly. These books explain it perfectly. Is that the Sith were actually a race of people that were conquered by dark Jedi. And the Sith actually were Force users as well. However, they were not as well versed in using the Force as the Jedi Knights. The Jedi Knights conquered them, put them into slavery, and became the Dark Lords of the Sith. Their overlords, so to speak. And of course, in opposition to the Jedi Knights, where the Jedi Knights believe in using the Force to serve, the Sith use the Force to conquer. Okay, and these stories explain that very, very well. Okay. And here's issue number 4 of The Golden Age of the Sith. Love those covers, man. And again, I've kept these books in very good condition. And here's issue number 5 of 5. That almost looks like a gentleman who used to play as a penguin. His name escapes me for right now. From the original Batman. And then here's issue number 1 of 5, The Fall of the Sith Empire. Because of the Sith being so greedy and evil, the Sith actually destroyed themselves. They went to war with each other, and who would be the dominating Sith Lord over their empire. So along with the Jedi wiping out the Sith Empire, the Sith Lords, they wiped themselves out too. Here's issue number 2. And during this time, there were many Sith Lords. You know, during the time of Darth Vader and Darth Sidious, there was a rule of 2. There was only a master and apprentice. But during this time, there were many Sith Lords. Just like this, the Jedi, the Jedi Order, there were many Sith Lords in the Sith Order. Here's issue number 3 of 5. And there's a Jedi Master there. I think his name was Jedi Master Aurora or something like that. He was killed during this time. Okay, I kind of think I showed these out of order. Excuse me. Got a little cough going on here. No, it's not Corona. And then here's the Sith War. And this actually introduces and shows the Mandalorian warriors and how their armor used to look during these days. Very interesting. The first appearance of the Mandalorians. And you know, the Mandalorians are also enemies of the Jedi Knights. And there's Ula Keldroma as a Sith Lord coming to challenge the Mandalorians and actually unite with them during the Sith War. And this is actually the very first appearance of a double-bladed lightsaber. No, the first appearance of a double-bladed lightsaber was not in the Phantom Menace. It was in comic books, in Dark Horse Comics' Tales of the Jedi and Sith War. And that's Exar Kun fighting a Jedi Master right there. And these stories are also written by Kevin J. Anderson. This is issue number 3 of 6. And it wasn't the Sith lightsabers weren't red. They were blue or green. It was not until the time of Vader and Sidious and Darth Plagueis that they actually started using red lightsabers. And there's Nomi Sunrider again with her baby. Looks like she's being attacked on the Sith War. And then there's Ula Keldroma as a Dark Lord of the Sith. I was wrong. They actually did start using the red lightsabers. I'm sorry. Battling his brother Kay Keldroma. He actually kills him in this story too. Okay. That's issue number 5 of 5. So yeah, they did start using red lightsabers during that time. My apologies. I stand corrected. And then here's the final issue of the Sith War. And they are basically... the Jedi Knights are forming an alliance to bring down Dark Lord of the Sith, Exar Kun. Exar Kun, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. So yes, this is my... And I'm actually missing some books. There's a final series called Redemption, where Ula Keldroma is brought back to the light side of the Force. Again, similar to Anakin Skywalker. Many Jedi fell to the dark side, unfortunately. So... this is my comic book haul based off of Tales of the Jedi. I hope that you've enjoyed this haul. And again, these books